I want to tell you guys a story about a really good friend of mine down in North Carolina. Her name is Vanessa, and I knew her in paralegal school. Incidentally enough, she had a front row seat to watch Amy systematically destroy me. So myself and me and Vanessa, we go way, way back. Now, nothing ever happened between us. She was one of the few girls at paralegal school that I had not messed with that first semester. So shortly after I moved to Vegas, Vanessa and I kept in touch. And she told me that she had met a guy. And things were going very, very well. They had their issues, just like every other couple does, but things were great. They moved in together. They planned to have a house. Then a few months later, they find out she's pregnant. So things are moving along very, very fast, but they love each other very much. They can't get enough of each other. But then her boyfriend asks her out of the blue if her ex-boyfriend was black. And Vanessa told him yes. Needless to say, he dumped her on the spot, kicked her out of the house. He called her an N-word lover, all this other kind of stuff. She sent me a screen grab of his text message to her, and it said, quote, "Next time you date a white guy, do yourself a favor and don't tell him you effed an N-word. It's a deal breaker for all white men." Now, obviously, it's not a deal breaker for all white men. There are many factors involved, not the least of which is a man's sexual market value. Right? A white man with options, a white man who can sleep with, be in relationships, and marry pretty girls, can pretty much have any woman he wants, right? Those guys are far less likely to get with a girl who's had a black boyfriend than a white guy who doesn't have as many options, right? So it really depends upon a man's sexual market value. A white guy, on the other hand, who has low sexual market value, will take what he can get. Oh, you messed with Taquan and DeAnthony and LaMarcus? Doesn't bother me. Now, on the inside, it does, but he doesn't have as many options as the high-value white guy. So because of that, he lets it slide and doesn't make a big deal out of it, let alone dump her on the spot like a high-value white guy would if he were to ever find this out. Now, white guys like to say, well, it doesn't bother me, but we all know that it is a deal breaker for enough white guys to be having this conversation. Like, let's not pretend that's not the case. Stereotypes exist for a reason, guys. I say this all the time. Black women are rude, they have an attitude, they don't give head, they're masculine, etc. We can point out all the outliers all we want to, but you cannot counter a macro argument with a micro argument. Conventional wisdom comes from a large sample size of experiences by the masses. This is how stereotypes come into existence. Black men also have a very negative stereotype. We cheat, we have a bunch of kids, we're criminals, we have tattoos, and all that other kind of stuff. Now, I don't take offense to that because I know that I'm not the stereotypical black man, but guess what, guys? If I'm being honest, I embody a lot of the negative stereotypes that black men have in this country. Just because I don't sound like I'm from the hood doesn't mean I ain't been in the handcuffs. Just because I don't have a bunch of kids doesn't mean I haven't spent time in jail. Now, white guys will say it out loud, oh, it doesn't matter. But deep down, it most certainly does. Let's not BS each other here, guys. This is how white guys feel. If the average white guy with the average white girlfriend found out that she dated, hooked up with, had sex with, or had anything to do sexually with a black man, she's tainted as far as he's concerned. Let's not pretend this isn't true because it is. I don't want to hear, well, Donovan, I don't care. Yeah, you do. Just because you don't tell anybody doesn't mean you don't. I'll tell you another story. Good friend of mine out in Vegas, right? Very, very good friend of mine, but never hooked up with her. Actually met her at the second call center I ever worked at. We became very good friends. She was like a 300-pound white girl who messed with nothing but dudes from the hood. Now, by then, I'm already starting to get a little bit more game, so I never, oh, God, no. Now, just because she was 300 and something pounds doesn't mean that she wasn't good company. Her and I, dude, we used to hang out. We used to smoke cigarettes out on the porch back when I smoked, revealed a lot to each other, et cetera, et cetera. Well, her oldest daughter, who she didn't have custody of, was in the custody of her sister. And I remember, I think it was like one weekend, we went over to visit her daughter at her sister's house. And on the way, like we went into their house, big, beautiful house. Her husband's a lawyer, this and that and the other. And I remember the subject of black guys came up. I think I was talking to her about her baby daddy or something. And she says, yeah, my sister Lisa she dated black guys all through college, all through high school, but don't tell her husband. She will never tell her husband. Right? This is why we know that if a white woman messes with black dudes, she is considered to be tainted. But here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that being a deal breaker. Take all the offense you want. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have different deal breakers for girls. Some guys won't date girls who smoke. Most guys shouldn't date girls with kids. I mean, the list goes on and on. But this particular deal breaker seems to be shared by white guys everywhere. So the question becomes why? Why is it that when a white guy finds out that a white girl has messed around with even a single black guy or had a black boyfriend or dated black guys in the past, why do white guys freak out and dump them? Why does this happen? I'm going to move this so I can see this a little bit better. I'm kind of leaning back here a little bit, guys. Having a little bit of a back issue. But why do they freak out? Why is it a deal breaker for white girls to have dated black guys? Now, before I really get into the nuts and bolts of this, I don't give a damn about your feelings, white boys. Right? I don't give a damn about your feelings either, black men. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you some raw, honest truths about the both of us. And if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. I don't need black dudes talking about, you're devaluing black men. That's not even close to what I'm doing. And if that's what you think, you're a wannabe red pillar who's a dumbass who values feelings over facts. And white boys, I don't need y'all telling me, well, white men have more game than black men, or black guys don't have a genetic advantage over us. Get the hell out of here with that. We have more game than y'all because we have to. Necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention. Black women are insufferable and impossible to deal with, and most white women don't mess with black men. As a result, we have to have airtight game not to get screwed over by black women and to get any play at all from white girls. So I don't want to hear that. As far as genetics are concerned, I mentioned this yesterday. Look at our sports leagues. Look at the Mr. Olympia winners over the past 4 decades. Look at the greatest gymnast of all time, Simone Biles. Right? France won the men's World Cup last year. Half that team is black. Case closed. End of discussion. Miss me with the BS statistics and studies and blood tests. I'm not here to disparage white men or black men. But this is the Sharpe reality. Not the Sharpe echo chamber. Not the Sharpe agree with black people because I'm black. Not the Sharpe pander to white people so they like me. This is TSR. I tell hard truths that are sometimes hard but necessary to hear. And if you can't handle it, get the hell out. I'm not trying to debate you fake-ass pro-blacks out here on this nonsense. Y'all are always on some bullshit. Y'all gotta, seriously, you guys have a messed up sense of entitlement and reality just like feminists. I actually did an episode called Pro-Blacks Are Just Like Feminists. Go listen to that. Y'all fake-ass black dudes out here faking the funk like Michael Bennett in Las Vegas, taking zero accountability for your station in life. To hell with all you guys. And white boys, quit crying and complaining that black dudes are out here messing with all the white girls. That ain't the case. Most white girls want you guys. But y'all's problem is that y'all are bitches. Y'all aren't masculine enough. Y'all are afraid to check a bitch. You're afraid to raise your voice. You're afraid to tell a girl to give you your phone number. You're afraid to pull a woman's hair during sex. You're afraid to smack her ass when your girl walks by. You're not man enough. And this is why more white girls are messing with black dudes. But the good news is that you can change that. You guys are still number one on the sexual market totem pole, but I'm going to tell you something right now. If y'all don't step up y'all's game, that's going to change quick. Don't take it personally. I don't make the rules. I call them like I see them. Again, guys, I'm not trying to bash white guys or black guys, but you guys watch and listen to me because I keep it all the way real, even if it's hard to hear sometimes. And if you want to change your life, you need to accept hard and fast truths, then do something about it. I love each and every one of you guys, but I'm not here for the bullshit. If that's what you're here for, you're in the wrong place.